lungs. The respiratory system is the first line of defense for airborne pathogens and viruses. The Silver Lungs generator infuses the respiratory system with your self-produced nanosilver solutions and also delivers the silver nanoparticles instantly into the bloodstream. With continued legislation threatening the sale of nanosilver products, you can now produce pure and endless colloidal silver with the Silver Lungs generator. Very easy to follow step-by-step instructions are provided, making production fast and simple. Go to www.silverlungs.com today and learn more about the breakthrough technology of the Silver Lungs generator. That's www.silverlungs.com. Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As they're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
They have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty, and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, they're arsonists. They're asking for more matches. And the Congress is saying, who do we make the check out to?
Today seems like nobody does care. And right now in Washington, D.C., we have seen a fall of the Republic.
Get your copy of Fall of the Republic on DVD at Infowars.com or watch it online right now in super high quality at PrisonPlanet.tv. This is Alex Jones with 5 good reasons you should consider buying a solar power generator. Number 1, new climate legislation could easily double or triple your electric bill. Number 2, our new energy czar wants to control how much power your electric company allows you to have. It's true. Total government control of electricity in the name of smart grid technology is coming. Number 3, in some areas of the country, the power grid is dangerously overloaded. And now new socialist legislation is only compounding the problem. Number 4, dangerous weather is always a threat to local grids. Every year, thousands of families lose their power from weather-related outages. Number 5, a solar power generator provides powerful backup insurance and peace of mind. Folks, I really believe in the solar power generators offered by Solutions from Science, one of my oldest sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com or call 1-877-327-0365. Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. We are here live, back Sundays 4 to 6 p.m. You heard some of my frustration come through earlier. This nightmare doesn't have to happen if we'll just get our survival instincts back and realize that we're under assault. I mean, if your neighbor came over and slapped you in the face, a neighbor you've known 10 years, you'd punch him in the nose. But the globalists steal your money, try to take your kids away from you, brainwash them, poison your food, your water, and then run around as a bunch of authority figures with cops standing behind them with like ancient, monkey suits on. I mean, that's what chiefs wear, big ribbons and crowns to impress people. Government wear these jackets with all these markings on it, just a bunch of primitive monkey behavior. And then we bow down to these criminals who were just running all over us. I've had it. I'm done. And I'm tired of just one-dimensional, moronic thinking and people not understanding. It's very frustrating. Now, I want to hit some more of the news that's percolating out there, and then I want to break down simply and succinctly. I'm going to try it again because some didn't understand why I'm angry at not just the governor of Wisconsin, but also people like Michael Moore. Because, see, folks are like, but the media says we got to choose a side. We got to choose Republican or Democrat. We got to choose liberal or conservative. We got to choose union or the governor. No, that's only one part of the larger equation. Stop letting them set the parameters. Have you heard get outside the box? The globalists are all about putting you in smaller and smaller boxes and what's comfortable to talk about and what's comfortable to debate. I mean, I see people all the time at restaurants or places having political discussions, and they always discuss the most mindless political things and find things they agree on and then sit there and agree with each other. And it's always some mindless pap, you know, some talking point that's been put out for years that they're repeating and feeling like they're big, smart political insiders discussing a baseball game or something. Hey, you're not in the baseball team. You're not making the $10 million a year, and you're not in the political process. You're discussing it because that political process is rigged. The only way to be really involved politically is to know how the game really works. Okay, but you are obsessed and watching projections on the cave wall. I go back to Plato's The Cave allegory. Okay, go up top. See the real world, folks. Not a projection where you're chained up in a cave watching puppet shows, okay? That's what I'm telling you here. There's a whole universe, a whole world going on. And we allow the control freaks who know how humans operate, but instead of using that information to further empower people, they don't like that. They don't enjoy seeing people enlightened and awakening. They like knowing your weaknesses. They like pushing your buttons. They like pulling your chain. It's to the power of infinity. We all work with people, know people who play high school mind games. And you'll always notice more successful people are just about business and don't really play the mind games. But a lot of times you just kind of put up with it because people can't help it. Most people that play little mind games aren't even aware they're doing it. And I guess we all do it to some extent. But the globalists consciously play mind games with people. And they enjoy punching your buttons. They enjoy deceiving you. You know what I enjoy? I enjoy seeing people wake up and routing these people. I want to see unbridled human potential. I am a fan of man. And Hollywood puts out The Devil's Advocate, where Satan incarnate is a fan of man and believes in humanity. What a lie. The devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy, even if you don't believe in a physical galactic entity of malevolent destruction. The globalists hate beauty. Their fetishes, what they're obsessed with is ruining beautiful, innocent things. They love it. Well, I'll tell you one thing. My gut, my soul, everything I am is turned against them. My entire being is focused down on them. And it's so frustrating that when you're good but know these secrets, you see how worm-like and weak they are, and then you watch the world and people that are unconscious selling their souls, their name, everything they are for ashes, for things that don't matter at the end of the day. And none of us are perfect. All of us fall into that trap. Look at the Charlie Sheen situation. Charlie Sheen, 6.5 years ago, calls me. I'm talking to him 3 or 4 months. He comes on air for 9/11 Truth in early 2006. He gets a lot of attention to it because he was well-spoken, but also his baggage made the media attack him on it, which actually backfired on them, and they realized it was backfiring, so it went from the biggest news story to nothing overnight. Then I become his friend. He's clean. He's married. He's not involved in drugs. Then he goes off the rails. Like a drowning man, he says, come out and see me. I need help. I go out there. He's off drugs, getting clean, but in a manic phase. I get him on the air to say, hey, let's talk about how you're off drugs, and it's positive. And then I let him do what he did on air, when in hindsight, I should have stopped it probably. And right after it happened, I said, well, you better apologize and back off of this. I said, they're going to fire you. And he said, well, I don't care if they do, but I don't think they will. And I said, yeah, they are, man. Because they can't have you basically standing up against him. And maybe he's right in what he's doing, but now under the stress and the people he's got around him, the yes men, Charlie doesn't want people right now around him who'll sit there and argue with him. But I don't sit there and judge Charlie. He is a human like all of us. Did he kill 1 million Iraqis? Is he involved using information to abuse and control people? No. At his heart, he's a good, gentlemanly guy. Everybody that knows him has said that. At his core, he's a good man. But is he lost? Is he the prodigal son? Is he going to come back? Maybe not. But I got to know Charlie and like him as the person, but then I can see the power of that Hollywood image that the globalists use, all those other Hollywood people, to push their agendas on the population. Think what would happen if we had a rebellion of the Hollywood people in that corrupt, decadent system against the New World Order. It could totally turn the tide against the globalist. And that's why they do surveil the Hollywood people. That's why they are using psychotronic weapons on them. That's why they are slipping them Mickeys. So many Hollywood stars are murdered for the insurance money or murdered by their managers. It is a hellish system they live under. And so pray for Charlie Sheen. In fact, I was on Coast to Coast AM last night. They wanted me to come on and talk about Charlie some, and then some other issues, and I'm going to get into those in a moment. But, I mean, Charlie is an example of humanity and the highs and lows it can have. And I was reading the news about Charlie before I went on, and I saw Men co-star Holland Taylor defends Charlie Sheen, while U.S. television network CBS is keeping mum about Charlie Sheen. One of his co-stars has been speaking out and sharing kind words about the embattled actor. 2.5 Men star Holland Taylor defended the actor she has worked with since the show began in 2003. Charlie was cordial and polite with all of the cast, all of his castmates and crew, sometimes even courtly. And that's how he is, unbelievably generous and polite and gentlemanly, and you know, giving homeless people $1,000 bills and giving money to charity and helping people, and you know, just incredible. But then he's also got a wild side. Charlie was cordial and polite with all the castmates and crew, sometimes even courtly, and always witty. Yeah, very smart. I mean, you know, all of his antics on these video casts are just him being in their face, and it comes off some of it as cartoonish. In person, he's really smart and witty. Taylor said Tuesday in an email to the Associated Press, "We watch movies at his house occasionally, warm evenings with interesting, spirited conversation. This is the guy I know. In this very sad and complicated time, I really have no comment," she continued, "beyond valuing my own history with Charlie and my abiding affection for him." And that's pretty much what I would say. I have some frustration that he is so locked in his battle with them and his anger that he is being over the top pretty much on purpose. But it's not an act, for the media wondering out there, and then I'm going to shift gears, but I just want to talk about this briefly. It's not an act, but it is. You know, basically, he's just letting himself throw it all in their face. But I don't know if there's a method to the madness. It's like he's on a treadmill. And I think the 7 months of drugs hurt him at certain levels and kind of destabilized him, and now he's in a manic phase, and I just pray to God he doesn't go back on drugs. I pray, because they are just waiting to destroy him, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this is a guy who told me in his kitchen 6 years ago that he was a born-again Christian. And now look at him. I told him, I'll pray for you the other night, and he said, "What, you're going to pray to your sky god for me?" And I said, "Man, you know there's more going on, Horatio, in heaven and earth than what's in your books." Will you guys pull up the Shakespeare quote? "There's more in heaven and earth than in all your books." I think it says it to Horatio. But I'm forgetting my Shakespeare because I'm still under the weather a bit. I mean, I feel God. I know God. And so the Charlie I know and love is the one that has a relationship with God. But I can't judge him now and throw him down and say, "Look at you, you're bad, you're a sinner," when I'm probably a bigger sinner in many ways. In different ways in my life. It's just incredible. I don't know what else to say on that front. I said I'd get into the Michael Moore situation, and I am going to do that. It's from Hamlet, and he's talking to Horatio. "And therefore, as a stranger, give it welcome. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy." Horatio, advised against it. Barge into Hamlet's conversation with father's ghost. See something as rotten in the state of